I think for our sector, for the arts and cultural sector, things are changing, and they're changing really quickly. And that means boards need to refresh, they need to reflect, and they need to do some sort of development. I think there are many ways that they can do that. It doesn't always have to be facilitated externally, but I think that instinct to improve is going to be very important for the resilience of our sector over the coming months and years.
So I think it has to be a balance of, you have to have some older people and you have to have some younger people on the board. So there's a mixture of new ideas coming in, balanced with more wisdom and well, hopefully more wisdom and slightly more staid ideas. You know, I sort of equate a board to like a council of a tribe or something like that. And what would happen in olden times, we think, was that the council would be a council of elders, but there would also be the braves on it as well. So the people who were younger and sort of in the trenches and fighting and going out and killing meat and whatever it is, they would be on the council too. So you would always get this kind of idea of the older ones going, well, this is how we used to do things, and then the younger ones going, well, we can do it like this. And that tension and that balance is very, very important.
Continually learn and develop. So in terms of being a board member for me and how I continue to develop as an executive or as a human being, I think it's about meeting other people who look at life in a completely different way. So when a board is really diverse, that can be about age range, it can be about background, it can be about ethnicity, it can be about sexuality, gender, whatever it is, and you've got lots of different views and lots of different experiences coming to bear. You're actually seeing some of the issues that you thought were quite straightforward. You realise are actually far more complicated. And then
The boards that I sit on, and I have the privilege of sitting on, they're working really well, but I can see a real significant difference over the years with more younger emerging leaders who are, you know, not treating the board like the very traditional way that they did, but are actually really getting them as part of that family, that cycle, and saying, this is the family, and we are on this cycle, and we're on this journey together, and we all have a role and responsibility in order to steer ourselves through the next 5, 10, 15 years. And so I think that has been a real refreshing observation that I've made over the last few years, especially in the last, say, 3 to 4 years. You know, understanding that in arts organisations, budgets, for example, and having that financial fluency is really important for every board member, because at some point the conversation will always be on numbers, and I think that having a certain level of financial fluency is important and something for everyone to consider when they join a board, regardless of your background and regardless of whether or not they have a finance trustee, because we are all making decisions and we're all part of that decision making. The lack of induction on many boards and the lack of allowing people to, you know, beyond the usual, you sit on a board table and your introduction may be like, you know, a sentence to say who you are, and maybe you had your CV circulated before to the board members, but actually how do you really get to know each other and the value that you offer that is beyond a kind of judgment that is made based on your background, and how do we ensure that sincerity that we're talking about in terms of developing relationships really happens?
I think it's been I think what makes a board really great is an affinity with the organisation it's running. It's an understanding of those organisational needs, so they can very tangibly and practically help. They're all very educated and aware of the art of the organisation. They are regularly engaging with the output the organisation is making. They are aware of the sort of the successes and also the challenges that are coming up. So they are there practically to be able to help. They're all speaking from a position of knowledge, and they've all got really strong thought out opinions about where the organisation could go next, and they're willing to sort of back the sort of leadership in how they might make that happen.